Alright, welcome. If you're new to the channel, my name's Elliott, and you're watching Rickety Ski Reviews. Today, we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. We've got a lot of ski reviews kind of packed in throughout the week, but we're going to be sprinkling in some React, and just, this one's a little bit different even still. Today, we're going to be talking about BOA. I'm going to give you my honest opinion because there is so much talk about BOA, so much marketing around it. It seems like everybody and their uncle is talking about how great BOA is, and I'm going to give my honest opinion about it because I don't really see a lot of people talking honestly and earnestly, and I have a lot of things to say about it. Now, BOA's been around for a while. Back in the early 2000s, I want to say somewhere around 2001, 2002, you started to see BOA tighteners and fasteners on snowboard boots, and that's when I kind of became aware of them because at that time, I was actively snowboarding. I snowboarded for about 3 years, but I saw BOA then and I didn't really trust it. I know the technology's changed a lot, but just hear me out. Back then, the laces worked perfectly fine if you took the time to lace them tight. And then back then they had this technology where you could pump air into the snowboard boots and it would allow it to kind of fill out and work properly. And I always found that those snowboard boots fit me better, work better. The technology just overall worked better, and I saw a lot more beginners have the BOA because they thought they were getting something out of it, but typically more experienced snowboarders knew to stay away from the BOA. Again, that's just my first-hand experience, but just to give you a background, since then I've been reviewing skis and reviewing ski boots, specifically just because I need to buy ski boots, and I always feel like it's a good idea to test what's out there. And here's kind of my off-the-cusp opinion of BOA on ski boots. I think two things. First off, if it helps you get a better fit for your boot, more power to you. I think that's great. I know people who use fit liners, who use BOA, who use these kind of more expensive pieces, but it helps them get to a good ski boot fit. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Ski boot fit is the most important part of your entire ski ensemble. Like, if you're gonna put money into something, put it into your ski boots. It's important that they fit right, that they're comfortable, that they fit in a way that allows you to flex the boot properly, that the stiffness is correct. All of that is super important, and if you're somebody where BOA just gets your ski boot to the right fit, more power to you. I'm not talking to you. I don't think any less of people who have BOA if it's helping them with their fit. You know what I mean? Like, if that's working for you, awesome, keep doing it. I will say that I think that there are other more cost-effective things that help with ski boot fit. Like, I think booster straps is the best 50, 60 bucks you could spend on your ski boots. I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was. Booster, if you're watching, you know, call me. But I honestly don't get any money from them. I just think Booster is great. It makes your flex feel more even. It's a really, really cost-effective way of improving your ski boots. I also think zip fit liners I've heard good things about, though I haven't needed them myself. For me specifically, I use those spoilers in the back that come with the boots. That helps my foot get a better fit. But back to BOA. Here's my second thought on BOA. For most people, BOA is totally unnecessary. I've never seen on my own boots where it improved my fit, where it improved my experience, where it made my boots feel better. I have yet to find a BOA system that I actually like that didn't make the boot feel worse. With buckles, I can kind of customize where I tighten them. I usually tighten the second from the top just a little bit to get a snug fit. I like customizing my buckle pressure, and I don't get that with BOA. And that to me is a huge downside for a thing that costs more on my boots. I also trust the buckles. I've had buckles break and been able to replace them easily. Now again, if it provides value to you, that's awesome. But in my personal experience, it provides no value. In fact, it makes the boots feel worse. You have that big, ugly twisting on the side. I don't think it's any easier than buckling boots. That's just me. But the problem is, the way that I see people in the ski industry talk about it is that it is only an improvement, and I don't think it is. I think that a lot of people who aren't as familiar with ski boots get kind of sucked into this, like, oh, I'm getting an upgrade, I'm getting the BOA, I'm getting X, Y, and Z, and I think that they should try the original version first. I think the reason you see it promoted is because it makes the ski boots more expensive, it creates kind of a higher ticket item, which is how companies and shops make more money, and honestly, I think it's kind of baloney. I don't know, I just haven't found an effective use for it, and it feels like something the ski industry can just slap onto a boot and justify charging more. And it's not just boots now, we're seeing it all over the place. I am a big fan of Out of Collective. I think that, I don't know if fan's the right word, but like, I have a healthy respect for Out of Collective. I like watching their videos. I think they do a good job. He had a part where he was talking about not everyone should be on a vocal mantra, even though it's a good ski. I love that kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, he is like totally ready to die on this hill about BOA. We're gonna react to some of his content, but I I don't think it's that great. And I think if you're looking at a boot, try the BOA version and try the non-BOA version and tell me if you can honestly feel a difference, because for me personally, I haven't been able to. So first off, I have an Instagram reel we're gonna react to, and then we'll look a little bit at what Out of Collective has to say. So this was sent to me by my friend who knows that I do not love BOA. All right, this video comes from user Mr. Adam X. Check them out on Instagram Reels. And here we go. Okay, that's just my patience running out. Does anyone else get anxiety from that clicking? Okay, in the video, what they're doing is they're showing a new, maybe it's a prototype, it looks like a ski show. They're showing the new leaky glove that has BOA in order to tighten the glove. What? What? Why? Why does anyone need that? And God knows, leaky gloves are already not cheap. Who knows what that's gonna cost? What a load of baloney. A simple Velcro strap. Velcro. It's worked forever. It works great. Why would you need BOA on a glove? Also, like, I don't want the glove to be all tight. I like having some looseness so my hands can be warm. Not to mention, don't even get me started on gloves versus mittens, because mittens are superior in my mind, but I get why people like gloves. But why do you need to tighten it that tight? Why does everything have to be so tight on you? I feel like I'm losing my mind. What a waste of money. Why do you need to tighten your gloves? Also, like, does that get caught on your jacket? Isn't it in the way? Doesn't it break easily? I mean, all the things that we say about boots, but gloves more so, because you're actually using your gloves. Could you imagine if your gloves like start to loosen because a stupid BOA thing had retracted? What a load of baloney. I mean, this, if I was BOA, I would just say, no, Leaky, we're not doing this. We already have a bad enough reputation. If we put it on useless things, the people who think this is useless, it's just gonna prove their point more. Why would you do this? Boots I kind of get. I've heard people say like, oh, you know, some people, if their hand strength isn't great or if they have arthritis, the clicking of the BOA works better. I get that. I want skiing to be accessible for as many people as possible, so I can get behind that. But the glove, it's so unnecessary. Velcro works so effectively, like, or use any of the other systems, but it's overkill. Skiing is so over-engineered, and this just further proves that point. I can see why they sent this to me. God. That is totally ridiculous, totally unnecessary. I would never spend my money on something like that. But again, that's just my opinion, and I know I'm not popular for calling out baloney, but I'm gonna tell you the truth and call it out when I see it. All right, let's go to the next one. Here we go.
The problem with BOA. There's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions about BOA. I think some of them are very valid. Some of them are based in past trauma. And we're going to talk about why some of those things are real, why some of those things are not real. The first and foremost thing that we will address right away is it going to break? I think there are going to be some that break. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that BOA is the end all be all. It's going to fix all your problems. It's going to make your wife love you more. It's going to make you a better skier. It's going to do all of those things, because that's not necessarily the case. Both of those things might.
This is well thought out so far. Like, I think the best way, if you're going to be promoting BOA, is just to address those things, because it's kind of this giant elephant in the room. But I'm one of those people. I mean, I don't think it really adds any extra utility to me personally. You know, when I was buying boots, did not buy it because I found that the fit was actually worse. But let's hear him out. I mean, I like Out of Collective a lot. He has some weird opinions. There's some weird stuff here and there where, like, Fisher will be sponsoring a video and then it's a review of Fisher. I don't really love that. But overall, I mean, this guy, he has hot takes, but some of them have been pretty spot on. So let's hear him out.
Happen, but it's not why you're buying a BOA boot. Durability wise, this boot is as good, and this BOA system is as good as you could hope for. They have much bigger cables. You can probably see them in this video, but they're like 5 times as thick as the ones that come on your cycling shoes or the ones that come on your like traditional snowboard boot. Obviously, that makes the cable itself more durable. The latching that they go into is also much more durable. They have metal inlets that hold the BOA cable, so that will hold up a lot better as well.
Okay, that's a fair point, right? A lot of people know BOA like I do through snowboard boots, so like fair point. If the cables are actually thicker and you've got metal clasp, I think that's a really good way of approaching this. Okay, I mean, there's a reason I like this guy. I think that he's on the money with those arguments. The only thing I will say, actually, I'll make the argument in his favor. I think that if you're looking at BOA as far as like how well it's going to hold up over time, you have to remember that ski boots don't actually last that long. I think you get about 100 days on a pair of boots, maybe less depending on how hard you're skiing. So what's probably going to fail before the BOA system is the plastic. Like eventually the plastic just gives away. Again, that depends on like where you are, exposure to sun, how you store your boots, everything like that. But you could argue that like the ski boot is more likely to fail before the BOA system does. The only thing I would say, back to my point that's kind of against BOA, is that if you have to repair it, it's really easy for me to get a buckle and just put a screw and washer in, or screw. I don't even think they take washers. Whereas if I need to get the BOA replaced and the shop that I'm working out of is busy, it may be more downtime while you're skiing. And in a big storm, when they get busiest, that's when you least want to miss ski time. So that, that's a counterpoint, but nothing too crazy here.
The last thing that we'll talk about is the fact that this BOA wheel actually releases out of its housing in the event that you have an impact on it. Is that the best thing in the world, right? Like something that's meant to be a little broken. It's not like a derailleur hanger where the thing is actually meant to just break. This will just pop off in the event of a crash so that you don't have to go and replace your whole BOA system. It's a nice thing. It is going to be a little annoying because obviously you will lose all pressure to this lower part of your boot when this BOA releases in the event of a crash, but I would say comfortably that that is a lot better than just having a blown up BOA system. Okay, obviously.
Yeah, that's okay. I get why that's annoying. I think too, like if you have any background in racing, you just know how much abuse your buckles and that part of the boot takes, which is why like people like me are so reluctant, because like I had Lang, the baby blue race Langs, and Lang was just shredded up. Like you couldn't even see the logo anymore. So I don't know. There's like, okay, is it going to release on impact or is it going to release when I just get too high of an edge angle? I mean, and I'm not saying this to sound cocky. I just mean like it happens, or there might be a rock that you kind of graze through. There's just so much wacky stuff that happens when you're skiing.
The wheel is a lot burlier than what comes on a snowboard boot typically. I think most people have this idea that they just took snowboard boot BOAs and they slapped them on a ski boot. It's not what it is. Next thing that people ask all the time is, why do I need a BOA system? I think the biggest beneficiaries of a BOA system are people that normally have trouble.
Okay, that argument about snowboard boots, I think it's valid, but also like you can't blame people. It's the same mechanism, and just because they've adopted it for ski boots doesn't mean that fundamentally you can't just kind of dislike the mechanism and how it works.
In their forefoot or over their instep in terms of closing those bottom two buckles. This replaces that with a system that actually wraps around the foot as opposed to just crushing down like your traditional buckles do. Your traditional buckles will go like this after you tighten them, pushing down on your instep, pushing down on your foot. BOA system will actually wrap around the foot a little nicer. It's almost like having a firm handshake as opposed to somebody squeezing the shit out of your hand. I think it makes a big difference. I think the fit is phenomenal, especially for people like me that have a higher instep. I've never been able to close those bottom two buckles. They've basically been worthless to me. Even when I go through the time of getting my boot fit properly, they're never.
Okay, that's a fair point. I guess that's something that I don't really deal with, so totally good argument. I mean, I think that like the crushing of the boot is a little oversimplified. I think a lot of times it's like based on the brand fit and things like that. But, agree to disagree with that buckle part. But I can see if your boot bothers you and this is the only way you can get it fit properly, go for it.
That comfortable to close on a regular basis. So I end up skiing them barely closed and flapping in the wind. This I can crank down as much as I want and I will feel comfortable and secure in this part of my foot, which is really important because it makes the rest of the boot fit properly. So
I mean, also one thing, if you are dealing with this and you have discomfort, one thing I do when I get that way, if I really have my boots latched down, I'm trying to like get some good angles, just unbuckle your boots on the chairlift. That's why ski racers do it, because their boots are so tight. Unbuckle your boots. I don't know why people don't do it, but just do it. If your feet are cold or if you're getting some discomfort, it's so easy. Just give yourself a break. If you're going into the lodge, unbuckle your boots. People hate doing it and it's so easy.
Highly, highly recommend this for anybody that has a higher instep or has trouble closing those bottom two buckles. The next thing that
Sorry to pause so much, but another thing he doesn't mention is, I would guess, again, I'm not a doctor, but I would guess that if you have arthritis or things like that or you have poor circulation, that maybe this helps. Just playing devil's advocate, but I could see a world where it helps. Okay, you know what, I'm changing my mind a little bit. I think that this does have a place. The problem is, and this is always the case with Atomic Bent, the problem is how the shops sell it is different than how like a reasonable person approaches it, like Out of Collective is. Like, a ski shop will take this and they'll just pitch it to everyone because they're selling a more expensive boot and they're getting a higher commission, yada yada. But, so this is a good argument, but unfortunately, it doesn't always trickle down that way.
Is worth mentioning is that BOA does have a great warranty system. It's a lifetime warranty on these, and parts are readily available. If your local retailer is selling this boot, they got a box of parts that showed up at their doorstep randomly, as well as a very cool looking BOA stool for boot work that showed up as well. That means that these parts are going to be on hand at your local retailer, thanks to the people at BOA, all because this is a new product launch. So if you're buying a new BOA, chances are you're going to be able to get this thing replaced.
Yeah, but that doesn't address the timeliness. You could still be out of a boot, which is the most important piece of equipment. You won't be able to ski without it for 5-10 days, whatever, depending on how backed up the ski shop is. So it's not an issue of like parts. I mean, it's good that that part is covered, but it's how busy is the shop and when is that tech going to be able to look at your boot.
It is also similar to changing a derailleur cable, which is not a difficult task if you haven't done that before. So this BOA system is a lot easier to loop through than a snowboard boot. On a snowboard boot, the BOA system is so annoying that your shop will literally just do anything to get you out of the building so that you won't have to deal with this BOA system stuff. You won't have to be in their hair, and they won't have to do the work because it's a giant pain in the ass to replace BOA cables. Normally on this system, it's actually very easy. So all in all, I think a lot of the things that are causing problems for BOA, that are perceived issues with BOA, are not real things. I think they all have pretty good solutions. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that this is as durable as a buckle system, but I know a lot more people that have broken buckles on their ski boots than have on, as far as BOAs go, on ski boots. Obviously the sample size is a lot bigger, but I think durability wise, this is actually going to be a pretty good product, even if it's not quite as durable as a buckle system. So all in all, let me know what you think. I'm curious to get some feedback on what people have seen with BOA so far on ski boots, if they like it, if they've tried one on.
Okay, that's pretty much the end of the video. Yeah, I mean, you probably see more failures on the buckle, but the thing is, the buckle, I can fix myself. Most people could fix themselves. I could figure it out with like a YouTube video and a couple basic tools. The BOA, you're gonna need those specialized tools, you need the stuff to replace it. Most people can have buckles lying around from old boots. It's a lot easier for just the people at home. And the thing he's not addressing, at least in my opinion, is that downtime. I once had a pair of snow pants rip, and then I had to go and get another pair, and that's why I have these ugly yellow, golden yellow snow pants. It's not because I like that color, it's because it was the only thing in my size that I could just pull off the rack because there was a big storm coming in. Now take that and multiply it by 10 for how concerned you would be with a boot and getting into a snowstorm. It's much worse. So I think that that's the big issue, is that we don't want to be stuck with this mechanism that people don't have time to replace and we can't replace at home. I also think that it's not a fair assumption to go ahead and say that everybody's going to benefit from that tighter fit. I think for a lot of people, the buckle is perfectly adequate. For me, it actually fits better, so there's no reason to go to BOA and spend that extra money and add the complexity to it. And I think that the reluctancy in the ski industry is earned because the ski industry is constantly putting more and more complex products into our hands and over-engineering things. You've got people in AT boots that don't really need them. You've got companies that are working on electronic goggles, just all these different things that aren't necessary. There's some things that are necessary. You know, boot warmers for people with bad circulation, that's great. BOA for people who might have arthritis or might have issues getting the buckle tight, great. But don't assume that it's for everyone. And I don't think Out of Collective is. I think they're doing a good job. But the problem is the local shops and some of the other people I see as influencers online are saying, oh, it's for everybody and everybody needs to be on this. You know, there was one Instagram reel where he goes, the problem with BOA is you guys, you don't want it. It's like, no, the problem is that we all don't need it. So that's my opinion on BOA. I think Out of Collective has some great points. I mean, that's why I think that they are just an awesome channel. So, you know, go check them out. Go subscribe to their channel. I have nothing but, you know, love for this channel. So, thumbs up. I just wanted to provide a couple of counterpoints that there are people like myself where BOA actually makes the fit feel worse. It pulls my foot in weird ways that hurt my ankle, that make a fit that make a boot that normally fits that I tried, Fisher Ranger specifically, not fit for me. If you're out there as a consumer, check it out. Maybe it will help you, but as always, just try it because you don't know for sure. It's not an automatic upgrade. Anyway, hope that was helpful. I want to give you guys some new kind of content. I thought this stuff was really cool and I've been wanting to talk about it for a while. And as always, if you like this kind of content, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps my channel out a lot, but more than anything, just thanks for taking the time to watch. I love making these videos for you guys. So I have a bunch of ski reviews lined up. I've got Liberty skis, some new Black Crows, Head is sending more skis, Vocal has skis on the way. There are lots of ski reviews. I cannot get in touch with Blizzard, Nordica, Salomon doesn't reply to my emails. So if any of you guys out there, I know there's people in the community, if you know someone at these brands, tell them to reach out. I've been trying to email all of them and I can't get a hold of them. There are brands I'd love to feature in my reviews like Blizzard and Salomon. If I have to, I'll go to the rental shop and it'll be something that's a little bit more beat up, but it's better than nothing. Anyway, just wanted to put that out. If you're somebody in the ski industry and you're watching this, reach out. My email is ricketyskireviews@gmail.com. I'd love to review your skis. I don't want free skis. I'll ship them right back to you, but I would love to get more ski reviews out there for people. So anyway, more than anything, thanks for watching my content. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. See ya.